Welcome back to the Fishium. In today's video I'm going to talk more into details about this aquarium behind me that is currently 7 months old. It is very easy and simple to maintain, and I'm going to go into details how it was created, what issues I had with algae, what fish I kept inside, and what happened with the plants. Let's go. The main idea with this type of aquarium is to build something as low maintenance as possible, to reduce trimming the plants and to reduce the time I spend on weekly maintenance. This is not aquascape that will win any competitions, but as I mentioned before, the main idea here is to spend as little money as possible, but still to create something nice for the fish and for the shrimps that are living inside. Now let's talk about the three most important things. The first is aquarium itself, the second is light that is located above the aquarium, and the third is hang on the back filter. Aquarium itself is 54 liters in volume, and it is built from Optiwhite glass, 6 millimeters thickness, with dimensions 60 by 30 by 30. You can build or buy float glass that is much cheaper, usually 30 to 50%, and if you are on a tight budget, I would recommend so. The light on this aquarium is Chihiro's A2 series, and currently for the purpose of filming this video I'm using 12% brightness, but I kept it all the time at only 1% brightness, because if you are not using CO2 injection, and as this aquarium everything is low tech and low maintenance, you want to keep the light at the low level of brightness as well. There is no need to go, let's say, above 10 to 15%, and on all my other aquariums I'm using 15% brightness as maximum level. But as I mentioned, on this one, because I had only Anubias and crypts, I used only 1% brightness. The filter I used on this aquarium is Sikkim Tidal 35. I had this filter for 2 years already, so there was no point in buying new filter if this one is working perfectly. Inside the filter basket I have ceramic media, sponge and the filter floss, and the filter itself is set to minimum flow. I cleaned it only once approximately when the aquarium, actually aquascape, was 4 months old, because the flow reduced significantly and the filter was full of malm. As I mentioned before, the main idea when creating this aquarium was to create something simple and low maintenance, and that's why I didn't add any stem plants that require much more maintenance and a lot more trimming. Instead, I decided to go with the crypts in the back and the Anubias in front. Important thing to mention is that the crypts you see in the back were transferred from another aquarium, so they were already, let's say, established and bigger than the plants you would get if you buy potted plants. So the plants in the pots are much smaller and they need much more time to grow, and that's why I added bigger plants from another aquarium. Of course, I didn't have to buy new plants. That was also one of the reasons to save money. And when transferring crypts like this, you can always expect some melt. So some of the leaves will just melt, and in my case this was maybe 20 to 30%. In the beginning I had some issues with the staghorn algae that was transferred together with the plants from different aquarium. So this Anubias was infected, as well as some of the crypt leaves. Regarding the crypt leaves, I was slowly trimming the infected leaves, and in that part of the aquarium staghorn algae completely disappeared. And on this Anubias I was applying easy carbo on a weekly basis, and during the course of 2 months staghorn algae disappeared. In the beginning I also noticed some staghorn algae on the small pieces of wood at the bottom, but with time they just disappeared. As I mentioned, this aquarium is almost 7 months old, and the algae that was on the wood was visible for almost 4 to 5 months. After that it just disappeared. So sometimes the best course of action is to do nothing. The only other algae that was present was some brown and green algae on the stones, but I left it there on purpose and I didn't clean the stones. This type of algae is easily cleaned with a toothbrush, but because I have hill stream loaches and they like grazing the algae on the stones, I left it there for them, so it is just additional food source. The thing I'm most proud with is how clean the sand looked like. I would usually vacuum the gravel, in this case sand, weekly together with the water change, and the thing that also helped to clean the sand was the fish and the shrimps that were constantly moving it and grazing on the bottom. And in this case these were 2 hillstream loaches, 1 goby and 1 amano shrimp. Maintenance wise, it was very easy to keep and maintain this aquarium. I did a weekly water change of 20% every week. The glass was cleaned usually every 2nd week, so this is 2 times a month. As I mentioned before, the filter was cleaned only 1 time during these 7 months. I would vacuum the gravel every week, and there was also 0 trimming of the plants. I was just removing usually some of the older growth from the crypts. I didn't add any fertilizers, and also I didn't add any root tubs to the soil, but in case I was planning to continue with this aquarium, I would definitely add some root tubs to the soil. The fish and the shrimps I had here are some cherry barbs that I added when they were still fry. Initially I added 9 of them, and I can count only 8 of them, so 1 of them disappeared during this time. Also I had 2 hillstream loaches, both of them are still alive and healthy, And on the bottom I have one amano shrimp, and she's with me since the beginning. She's more than 4 years old, and she was featured in my first video series when I started this YouTube channel. Also, I had a red lipstick goby in this aquarium that is unfortunately not anymore with us, and he was in my care for almost 3 years. And as you've seen, if you follow the previous videos where I followed the journey of this aquarium, Mr. Bulldog, the red lipstick goby, he got sick, and unfortunately he passed away. He just refused to eat, and during the course of 1 month he kept losing weight until one day I found his body at the bottom of the aquarium. I had similar issues with other gobies, even when I just got them or at the much later stage of their life. As far as I know, most of these gobies are wild caught, and some of them, they never get used to the life in aquarium. That's all for this video. Hopefully I didn't forget to mention anything. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to mention them down in the comment section. And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.